I cannot seem to walk by one of these old wooden stereo consoles without looking to see what's inside. But I was thrifting with my son and he asked why I wasn't more interested in this. Well, that's because I know from the back what this is and he didn't. I'm really curious though about the attachments for the television and turntable. I had an image in my mind of what the front would look like. It turned out it was way more interesting than what I expected it to be. So maybe he was right and I was wrong. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I got to go thrifting with one of my teenagers, which is always an interesting experience because they're drawn to completely different things than I am drawn to. And sometimes they are intrigued by things that wouldn't even catch my attention, like the movie projector sitting there to the left of the sewing machine. He didn't have any idea what that was and asked me. We also found an overhead projector, which was apparently something he's never seen before. If you're actually looking for one of these old console stereos, look at estate sales because I have seen them. They're dirt cheap and they're always expensive in the thrift stores. This hand-painted tray caught my eye. That is really pretty. And then there was all of the milk glass. I don't think I have ever seen so much milk glass in one thrift store on one shelf at the same time. There were some pieces here that I see every time I see milk glass, and there were some pieces here that I have never seen before. I think that one hobnail bowl is a candle holder. It had some kind of metal insert in the middle. I wish in hindsight that I had checked the prices on the plates, but I didn't because the sheer quantity of it had me overwhelmed. Does anyone know if these little lamps were ever intended for actual use? They just seem tremendously impractical to me. Maybe that's because I have the big lamps and I use them when the power is out, so I'm thinking about whether they're practical or not. This clock is one of those things where you see and you almost instantly know that it has to be hollow plastic because it looks so pretty and it looks like it should be heavy, but it's not. They moved the craft section again. I hate it when they reorganize stores, whether it is the thrift store or the grocery store. I want things to be where I expect them to be. Is this a string art mason jar? And if it is, why? I kind of love this chair and think that it would be great for a stitching corner. It looks incredibly comfortable to curl up in with a book or a knitting project or some stitching, and one of these days I'm going to find the perfect stitching chair. I've got a pretty decent one in my sewing room and I really should be content with that, especially since I have stitched in it maybe twice in 18 years. I always stitch down here in the living room on the couch. The Tonka trucks caught my eye, which is good because then I noticed the old-fashioned decanter sitting next to them. That is the second of those that I have seen in a thrift store in recent years, and old barware fascinates me. I don't know why. My father's parents had a bar in their basement of their mid-century time capsule house, and maybe that's why. Wish you could have seen that picture, but the skylight's glare on the glass was a problem. Here's a cross-stitched clock, probably the prettiest cross-stitched clock I have ever seen. And there's the Dimensions logo. My hopes were high until I picked it up, and it is an iron-on fashion transfer with cats and ribbons, and yeah, that's from a very specific time period in history, isn't it? Here's another cute chair. I don't know what it is about old upholstered furniture from a certain era that makes me go, ooh, that belongs in my house, even though my house is probably a couple decades older than that chair. Here's some more cross stitch. These are pretty shells that have a really impressive framing job. And I check the back. I love to because sometimes there are messages or in the description that's entertaining. This one was framed in Alaska and somehow found its way to the state of Oregon. I'm sure there's a story there, but I can't for the life of me think of what it might be. Some diamond painting. I am seeing more and more diamond painting in the thrift shops. And here's an embroidery kit that when I flipped it over, it looks like this is a small part of something much, much larger. I wish there'd been a picture with it because I think it was something done in panels. Let me know, did you see anything here that caught your eye that you were tempted to bring home or would have been tempted to bring home if you'd been in the shop yourself? Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.